What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called The King is Watching. We had a chance to take a look at a demo of this game about a year ago, and it was like promising, but they were still getting the pieces put together. Well, the game picked up a publisher, which gave them a nice cash infusion, and so it's time for us to take a look at the final release product that you guys are going to be looking at very, very shortly. If you wanted to check out the game further, I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check that out there. On top of that, I've also got a link to a bunch of other Nerd Castle stuff, but let's dive on into The King is Watching and check out this kind of fresh, unique little game. Like, there's not a whole lot of other things out there that are quite like this title, and I actually think that that's going to give it some legs and make it float. And so, like, let's dive on in, give it a go, and we'll play ourselves a run. Now, this game is a roguelite. You are the king of a kingdom, and you are defending it from never-ending waves of goblins and their cohorts. The goal of the game is to build up infrastructure and go as far as you possibly can, while battling off endless hordes of goblins and their bosses that lead them along. When you get done with a run, you get metagame currency, which allows you to upgrade things, unlock new mechanics, so on and so forth. But anyways, for right now, let's dive on into a run. So throughout the course of your time, you are going to be unlocking different kings that have different abilities. They will allow you to do different stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't unlocked that many things for the king in the 3 hours or so that I've played, but I've unlocked one thing so far. Hopefully, I can unlock more later on down the line. You also get advisors. You can slot in advisors that will give you different bonuses. So this guy right here makes my castle wall have an extra 100 HP. When the castle wall goes down to 0, we die catastrophically. But let's dive on into the game and give this a go. We're currently on Ascension 0, so the game does have multiple difficulties and things that you can play around with as you get further on into it. Not going to read through all that because it will use up some of our time to actually show you what the game looks and plays like. But this is our kingdom right here. You can see that there's a number of different plots. We're going to be placing things on the plots. And then the hook of the game, The King is Watching, you know, the thing that gives it its name, basically is that you see that little gold kind of like Tetris piece right here? Only the buildings that are under our gaze are actually going to work. There are rare exceptions for buildings that just function on their own and don't need you to be looking at them. But for the case of right now, we don't really have any of those, and so we need to get this thing moving. I'm going to start by placing 2 wells right there. Wells are infinite, and they give you water, and we need water to pretty much boost up every single tier 1 production that we can possibly get our hands on. Before this first wave arrives, we've got a timeline up top. The timeline is going to let you know when different attacks are landing. You do get to choose what attacks you. For every purple flag, you basically get to set up what's going to hit you as you move further on into the game. So you can tailor your waves to be more difficult or more easy, but also more rewarding. It's totally your call what you feel like is worth it there. We do have enough right now, so if I wanted to get some peasant huts up, because I think we're going to need some defenders before too long, I need grain, and it looks like I'm gonna need wood. So we'll play that right there for right now to get ourselves a slow trickle of wood coming on in. These resources are limited, and so these are gonna deplete themselves, thus keeping the game fresh and allowing you to like rearrange your city every now and again in order to make stuff work more effectively. You can also right click on your gaze in order to rotate the piece. You can increase the size of it down here with various currencies. You can also increase your unit cap should you desire to do so. I'm gonna put a field right there, and then we're going to rotate this guy like so. That way we're now bringing in grain and we're bringing in wood, but the game does have kind of like a little bit of an idle game bent to it, I guess, that makes it feel like, you know, you're playing a number go up game as you go on in. I'm going to put that right there so that we can start getting some peasants. This right here is a peasant hut. It's going to give us some really, really terrible units that aren't really going to kill much, but we'll get started with it. That way we've just got something out front for when the enemy wave arrives, because just as mentioned, the enemy wave has arrived. It's just one little goblin bandit for right now, so it's not that bad, but there's a chance that he's probably going to torch my peasant, and so I'll try to get a little bit. What do each of these cost? 6? Do we have 6? All right, we've got 6. Give me another peasant. Yeah, it looks like a peasant loses a 1v1 to a goblin flatly. Actually, did we win? I guess we're getting our rewards right now. I suppose that we won. I'm going to take the bone pit every single time you win a wave. you're going to get to pick between a number of rewards that are going to be correlated with the waves that you chose coming on in. For right now, the Bone Pit is actually a really fantastic investment for the early game. I like the Bone Pit very, very much, and so we'll take one of those. It allows us to convert water into skeletons, which are slightly better than the peasants we already have. We also get a building. I'm going to take a gold mine from that because that feels like it's going to be helpful. We'll also pick our prophecy. So this is where we tailor our waves going forward, and we can decide what we're going to be attacked by. You have inevitable waves. You don't have a choice but to face these, so you have to slot those into the top row. And then you have optional challenges you can go up against should you desire to do so. And so I'm going to put 4 goblin bandits right there, and then 2 goblin swordsmen right there, because that gives us an artifact, which is going to be really, really helpful. I'd like gold before the first trader gets here, and then I'd like another artifact. That would also be good. And then I'll probably take just a production building and a unit spawner, I suppose. Your kingdom's lumberjacks, famed for their resilience, have braved every winter until now. The winter's unprecedented cold has claimed many, later found as lumberjack-flavored popsicles. The survivors now demand health insurance, reasonable hours, and even something other than grog to fight the cold. How will your grace handle their audacity? We can get deforestation, which is a spell. We can get a sawmill, or we can dispatch soldiers to beat them up and give us 50 wood and 2 free soldiers. I'm going to take the 50 wood and the 2 free soldiers because that's just a no-brainer right now. These guys right here are a solid tier 2 unit that'll probably carry us for a little while. And then, with what we would probably like to do here, let's not worry about getting another peasant on the field. Instead, what's it going to cost me to build that guy? I need some grain. All right, well, let's get the grain going. That way I can get my skeletons spawning. We're a little bit out of sorts right now. Like, we could technically be arranged a little bit better for efficiency's sake, but as we increase the size of our gaze, it should get better. I am going to increase my unit cap real fast. That way I can actually fit in all of these skeletons that are going to be joining my retinue. You do have the ability to put these guys in reserve. That does remove them from your unit cap, but it doesn't remove them from the unit cap that you have on the field right now as far as your buildings are concerned. So you kind of have like 2 different unit caps. You've got like a how many battle guys you can deploy to the field over here, and then you've got like a universal cap that's sort of set by the amount that's tied to each building. So like we can never have more than 2 peasants or more than 3 skeletons right now. You can put them in reserve. That way you can have a whole bunch of reserves back here if you have lots of military buildings and you can't field them all. And then you can release them in waves. That can be really helpful for certain bosses and certain strategies. But for now, not really something that we're looking for. I am going to play the market very quickly. Because we need to start selling things in order to get gold. And so I'm going to sell off some of my grain from this field right here. Our first gaze increase is going to cost us gold, and it's going to cost us grain. So we need to make our gaze a little bit bigger so that it's a 2x2 instead of like a 1x2. That would be better. Or I guess a 1x2x1. I don't know what we got going on right now. We do get some free resources right there. I'm going to take the gold. That's actually a huge pickup. And then we get a artifact. Where would we be in a roguelite in the modern indie landscape without having artifacts that increase your efficiency as you go through the game? We've got a sturdy candle. That'll make it so temporary units last 3 times longer. There are various artifacts and buildings you can get in this game that make your units respawn as ghosts, or make them respawn as slimes, or every time you destroy a building, you get a horde of frogs that come out and fight for you. It's up to you what you want to go for. We don't really have a summoner build going right now, so I'll take the Ram's Horn. That means when an enemy dies, they get 20% of the health of that enemy heals one of my units, which, since we're pretty frontline focused, will likely be helpful. Let's go ahead and turn that off real quick because we don't need it right now, because I'm going to put down a gold mine right over here. If you see a sigil on the ground, the blue ones and the purple ones and the gold ones make your production go faster. The red ones are cursed ground, but you can remove them by using one of your sigils to overwrite them if you want. But anyways, that's how those work. So we don't really want to place anything on the cursed tile for a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to get ourselves in trouble. I would like to get some better barracks buildings. Yeah, we're going to have to pick up some buildings that allow us to fight a little bit harder, I think. If I can get another one of these guys so that we have 6 skeletons out, I think that'll carry us for a little bit, but it's not really going to help. These buildings right here are lazy nobles. You remove lazy nobles through your metagame progression, which gives you like a larger 5x5 grid to play around with. I think I've removed 3 or 4 of them right now with metagame progression, but it's really up to you how you want to deploy those out there. I think we could probably use, so we need gold in order to make that work. But I played my gold over here. Yeah, I played my gold over here in order to get the gold mine out. That way we were converting like our 40 gold into like a 200 gold before it collapses. So that'll help out for a little bit. I'd like to get my gaze at least up by a 2x2 before too long. And so we'll let that run for a minute, but we've got more enemies on the battlefield, so it's likely that we're going to be replenishing and kind of trying to rebuild units in just a second before anything else goes wrong. Water supply's looking pretty good for right now, and we are winning the battle at center field. These guys don't attack, they just run up and suicide bomb your gates like Helm's Deep style, I suppose. They run up and try to blow up your grates. We did get 40 bucks and an artifact for though. Units stun an enemy once every 20 attacks, or get 3 wood whenever you create a unit. We don't really have champions right now, so I guess I'll take the wooden key. It's not the most incredible thing that we could pick up right now, but it's something. Let's go with that arrangement right there and just let it run until we have the grain to make our gaze larger. Our gaze is now larger, so we're harvesting things in a larger radius. I'm going to replace that lumberjack right there with another one. That way we just keep supplies coming on in. There's an argument to be made that says I probably could have put a wheat field down there and made my wheat field a little bit more efficient. But like, what do I look like? A guy that plays the game properly? Next wave of enemies is upon us. Your leaders do have special abilities. Mine is that I can spend 30 water in order to summon 3 peasants. I can do that like every minute and a half or so. On top of that, you've also got a stat called morale. Morale gives you 1% more damage on every single unit in the game. For each point of it that you have. So anytime you see anything come up in an event that gives you free morale, I've gotten it up to 80 or 90, and yeah, dude, at that point you're chugging when you're doing like double damage. It also frees you up so that you can use a lot of your bonuses and things to give HP to your units. And we've got a basic production over here. I'll take the clay mine, and then we've got a new barracks over here, which gave us swordsmen. Very nice. Unfortunately, we don't have the metal required in order to make swordsmen, and so we're just gonna have to kind of like sit on that for a little while. I would like to get my research bench down. My research bench is gonna make it so that I can get free buildings, basically. So as long as my gaze is on top of it, they do research and they give me basic production buildings like wheat fields and stuff like that. So that should be okay. We've got a trader right here, so hopefully we make some decent cash off this next fight. I'm just gonna get this rolling a little bit, get some progress on it, I guess. Although I suppose we do need wheat fields, huh? Okay, give me a couple wheat fields up there. And let's get some wheat and gold going, because we're inevitably going to need gold anyways before this gets any simpler. We're well on our way towards our next gaze increase. We have enough for a unit cap increase. Unfortunately, until I get ore, we're not really going to be able to do much with that. I do wish they would allow you to keep the speed controls on while you're inside of combat. As far as roguelites go, this is a fairly lengthy roguelite if you're playing on like normal speed. And so I like to play on a higher speed because I just push pause with the space bar whenever I need to rearrange things. We can get a militia camp. We could build that right now, and it would add a little bit more oomph, and we could get rid of our peasants. They're basically just upgraded peasants. So, like, we could technically do that. We do need ore, so I would consider taking that. I'd prefer a pure building, in all honesty. Let's take the militia camp, and we'll take that guy for right now. That's about the best that I can do at the moment, just because I'm trying to get things up and running. Let's put a militia camp right there, and I think I have the resources. Oh, I do not have the resources. Okay, well, let's work on getting a little bit more wood. Nothing shows solidarity in a society like going into battle with a good supply of wood. Freaks the enemy out, man. They don't like it. These guys require wood in order to be produced. They do. Unfortunate, but we'll figure it out. Keep producing wood over here. If I can get these depleted too. I wanted to pick up that frog mask, but unfortunately, no frog mask for us. I can't afford to use the wood right now, so instead what I'll do is I'll put 2 wood farms right there. That way we're replenishing a little bit, and I can get these militia out onto the field, because right now we just need like warm bodies out fighting the enemy. The enemy waves are not too brutal yet. They're not fielding champions or anything else like that. And so, like, we just need people to stand in front of them and cause problems. This fight should go reasonably well in our favor. They tend to target the skeletons is what I've seen so far. And so since the skeletons are so cheap to repair and get, like, new ones of, I don't really worry about it too much. Another bone pit, or we can get archery. We're not really set up for archery yet, so I'm going to take the bone pit. We've also got basic production, which gave us an iron mine. We definitely need that. And then I think you can actually fold this up right here to check what you have inside your buildings, because you have a limited supply of all these buildings, and so you can check it real fast if you want to. I'll probably go with... Oh, I don't know. We can re-roll them, too, for money, but I'll probably just go for a wheat field right there. New artifact. We've got the Poor Man's Relic over here. Now, we can get... Every grunt unit on the battlefield gets 2% more HP and 3% boosts for every single other grunt unit that's on the field. Not awful. The units, they have a tag on them. I'll show it to you in just a second, but I got to set up my attacks right now. Let's get another barracks right there. We'll get some free resources right there. We'll get a free resource-producing building and a free barracks right there. We'll get an extra spell right there because we're a little bit low on spells at the moment. And then I'll probably just strap them on right there. That fight might be a little bit too difficult for us, but it gives us a tier 2 production building, so I'm going to take my chances on it. For generations, your kingdom has relied on the most effective method of measuring grain reserves, the jump test. A volunteer leaps into the pile, their survivor proving that the granaries are full. Today, Peasant Willard's attempt ends with a sickening thud, followed by the murmured realization from the gathered crowd. We have too little grain to survive winter. Your advisors urge swift action to protect your kingdom and reputation. I can just get 100 right now by blaming the methodology. I can blame the farmers and get a free wheat field, or I can get 2 random basic productions. I'll take the 2 random basic productions. That's fine. We've got a crystal mine. That's not... How many trees do I have left? I only have 1 tree left. I'm going to take the tree. And then over here, we will take another iron mine. That way we're all stacked up and ready to rock. I need my... Yeah, you guys reproduce real fast. Just make sweet, sweet love to all the other militia guys, and then we will have enough militia to survive this. I think... So a couple things here. I'm going to spend some gold to fix that and come over here so that I can sanctify that ground so that it's no longer cursed, and then it'll be a little bit more useful to me. I also need these buildings to go away because I need more space. And really, walking the tightrope line in this game between... having enough production and being able to respawn your units and everything else can actually be a little bit of a headache. Give me another tree over here. I think we just need more wood. We need to start stacking up ore. That way I can get swordsmen out onto the field, and we'll probably just replace the militia with swordsmen. I think... No, we'll replace the peasants. That's what we'll do. We'll replace the peasantry with more soldiers. We got a decently sized wave coming in from this side. There's no spells that I can cast to help out. That's why I'm trying to stock up on spells right now. Spells in this game can be really, really useful for thinning out waves that basically hose you over pretty hard. Skeletons are going down. I am going to destroy that building right there so that I can get swordsmen up and running. I don't know if I have the ore to fully spawn yet, but we lost a couple of units right there. There's our first spell, so we get Fireworks or Slow Zone. I guess I'll take Fireworks. Basic production, I will take... I've got enough wheat fields. I'll probably take a clay mine because we're going to need that anyways for the next upgrade to our gaze. I'll take the archery hut right there too because I think that'll help out. Scooch that over to there so that we're producing something useful while we're spawning these guys up. And then since all of my peasants are now gone... I'll probably destroy that so that I can put the archers down. We don't really have enough gold to afford the archers, but it'll have to do for right now. We're not going to be able to replenish them if they die, but we're starting to work our way up into a full Tier 2 army right now, which is kind of where we want to be at for this phase of the game. Here comes more enemies. They've got themselves a piggy rider right now that we've got to deal with. I will put down a basic construction hub right there. What do I have a lot of that I can potentially sell off right now? Move over to there. Wow, my army actually got beat up pretty good on that fight. Okay, well, replenish them. Get everybody back into the field. Okay, $10, and then we can levy some new characters. I don't really want a militia camp. I don't really want to re-roll either, so I'll just take $5, and then we can get another spell. Bladefall is a good one. I'll take Bladefall. Bladefall can usually wipe out like an entire enemy wave, and so I think I can live with that for the moment. You guys respawn. Oh, that's why, dude. Yeah, spawn unit, they're all in reserve right now. That's why I didn't have an army right there. All my respawns were going to reserves. Okay, we're not as dour a situation as I thought we were in. Over here, let's start selling, I guess, a little bit of ore. That way we have at least a trickle of gold coming on in for our next replenishment. This is also getting us the clay we need for our next upgrade over here. Yeah, it'll work for the moment. It's not going to be great, but move that up there. Oh, we're unit capped right now. Okay, we'll move that down to there. We need 320 wood in order to get ourselves another unit cap increase. The slimes seem to be going down at an okay rate. If I have more units, just put them out onto the field right now. And we won. We get 45 of a resource. I'll take 45 ore. We get a veteran barracks over here, and this is something we can actually start building around. So we can get a hive if we end up getting ourselves a grape or like a vineyard. These bees right here are really, really good. They're kind of like a super unit that soaks a lot of damage. And so I'll take them for sure. I don't think I have a winery or anything for right now. So I don't think that's going to fix our problems, but I am going to need gold fairly shortly, I think. Respawn my army real quick. Just whatever you can get out onto the field. And while we wait, I actually want to turn this. This right here is a temporary construction site. When you complete the progress meter, it turns into a super resource generator, basically, that has like 2,000 resources inside of it. That can be a good or a bad thing, depending on your civic planning. But, like, we'll give it a look here. So this can become a wheat field, a sawmill, an iron mine, or a clay mine. I will turn it into a permanent iron mine, because 1,000 iron is going to take a really, really long time for us to whittle through. And I need a little bit more wood, so we'll get them chopping over there. Next wave is here, unfortunately, so I didn't get the productivity that I was hoping for. But hopefully by the end of this fight, I will have enough for my unit cap increase, because we have too many buildings that are sitting on not fully spawned. Luckily, this fight should be decently easy. It's just a couple of wizards. And so once they close the gap, they should kill him pretty simply. With our 70 bucks that we have on hand, we definitely want the vineyard, because that plays into our strategy of getting bees out into the field. I would actually consider buying grapes right now, too, just to put some inside of our stockpile. That way, so that requires 140 grapes. Okay. I need some production buildings to kind of, like, vanish. That's what I would really prefer. We do have enough wood for us to get our next unit cap increase. I'm going to wait for them to kill off this right here. And we've got boar riders. Unfortunate. We lost 2 guys over there. Okay, we'll spawn another swordsman real fast just in case we need him. And it looks like, in fact, we are going to need him. Scooch that over to there, so at least we're going to eat up this field on this side. 10 bucks and a levy barracks. I'll probably take... God, I don't even know. Maybe another archer. And then over here, what do I have? I need another tree. Established production. An established gold mine would be pretty huge, but we don't have the metal to make it work. I'll take it for the future. There's no limit to your hand size as far as I've been able to tell so far. We'll take Poison Puddle as a spell. Get 1,000 water upon picking up this item. Increase your castle HP. I'll take the 1,000 water, actually, because that means I can bulldoze both my wells. I doubt we're going to go through 1,500 water before we die. I'd like more spells. I'd like more resources. I'd like more resources. I'd like to upgrade my troops, so I'll take that right there. I'd like to upgrade my troops. And then I feel pretty lackadaisical about the rest of this stuff. I don't really care, so I guess I'll take the advanced production right there. May backfire on me. From your balcony, you watch smoke rise from the forest. No bread means no royal toast. Tragic, you muse, sampling a grape. A soot-covered scout bursts in. A wildfire is spreading, threatening our fields and farms. The council debates. Protect your existing resources or let the fire create new fields. We can get 100 wood. We can get 50 wood and a couple of militia. We are a little bit low on wood right now, but we can get a free troop training, too. I guess I'll take that. The free troop training allows you to upgrade your unit types. So we have militia, we have swordsmen, we want them to hit harder. And so I'll upgrade the damage of all of my units that are melee by, or at least tagged with the warrior tag by 15%. It'll help out. From there, I desperately need... So that's about to despawn. I need the vineyard. So we'll get the dedicated vineyard going. And the dedicated vineyard should slowly get us towards producing our bee colonies. because if we don't get the bees up and running, I think we're going to have a bad time. So those are 45 HP. Those are 140 HP. So these little bone guys can actually probably be replaced with something better. Yeah, let's do it. Let's destroy that building right there. We'll put in the archery tower right there. That is going to tap into our gold a little bit more than I like. But that's life. Go ahead and mine some ore real fast just to pay that off. And we'll get another archer real quick. I am going to need a unit cap increase before too long. But my unit cap will free itself up once all the skeletons are dead. And since they tend to get focused fired quite a bit, it may work out to our benefit. Come over here, see if you can finish off these plots real fast. What did I need for this? We just need a little bit more gold, and then we can make that work. These buildings and the sides, by the way, they are destructible. So all of this landscape you see along the sides of the road has little details. Like if you cast spells and you miss, it'll like blow up the huts and knock off the roofs, and they'll be on fire and stuff like that. Very entertaining. I will take a chain lightning. And then I will upgrade the damage of my warriors by 15% one more time. That sounds really, really good. We lost 2 units right there, so just whoever spawns first gets to be a part of the soldiery, I guess. There we go. All right, so they're all in. And what do I need right now? Well, I need space. So I'm going to have that building burn itself out. I need the vineyard to be functioning for the moment, and I need that building to go away. And as soon as I can get... What does the gold mine need? It needs metal. I don't have a smelter yet. So until we have a smelter, that's not going to be a real option. But the good news is, if I keep farming down here, I should be able to get the bees out onto the field before too long. There we go. There's my bees. Perfect. Once these guys start to die off, I am going to spawn the bees. We'll see how that works with our unit cap. We need 35 of our grapes in order to get a bee, so they're pretty expensive, but like I can just leave it chilling right here anyways up until we get to that point. And so I'll spawn the bees when I need to spawn the bees, preferably before the boss gets here, because we're on our way into our first boss, like starting at like 30 minutes right now. Were we to lose the game right now, we would probably get enough currency to get like 1 upgrade, which is really my only main problem with the game. You just don't get currency as fast as I would like to get currency. I don't need any of that, unfortunately. I guess I'll take the grapes. That helps out a little bit. Grunts get upgraded over here. I don't really have any grunts. I don't have any riders either. Ugh. Okay, I guess I'll spend all my gold. I'm gonna upgrade my warrior's HP by 15%. That way we have it, like, ready to rock before too long. I do have enough for a bee over here, so I'll get the bee cooking. The bee is basically like a super unit. They're really, really good. They have 400 HP. They deal quite a bit of damage. They are a very, very nice unit to have when it comes to holding off the enemy. I'll probably send some of my militia to the barracks. That way I can stock up on bees, I guess. There we go. Now we should have some serious killing power. We should be in pretty good shape as far as the bees are concerned with tanking. Yeah, they take damage quite a bit slower. If we can get, like, shamans or some kind of mage that heals my units, I think we'll be in really good shape. I will take the 45 gold because we're a little bit low on it. I will also take a sawmill, I suppose. That sounds very, very nice. And in fact, I'll just deploy the sawmill right there right now, because that fixes a number of problems. We're capped out on bees, so let's just focus on gathering resources for the moment. Don't really care about the water, but like, I guess I can get 1 more swordsman too. Might as well throw him out onto the field since he's better than the militia. There we go. All right, so we've got a solid troop stack right now. A troop stack that I'm happy with. We just need to figure out what else we want to do down in here. I'll probably just deploy both of those. And then I'll probably take, what do I have left? Militia? Yeah, spawn my troops inside the barracks for right now. That way we've got like a nice little reserve of guys that can help us out. We are catastrophically low on grain right now, though, so I should probably fix that problem. Oh well. I don't think they're going to kill any of my units on this charge, so I think we'll be alright. Good stuff. I don't have any money for the traders, so this is honestly kind of pointless. I might be able to fix something about what it is that we're producing. The golden sawmill would be nice. It's going to cost me a bit to get it deployed, though. We can also get a hospital. Oh, it's 40 bucks. I can't afford it. Damn it. Okay, that sucks. Okay, take the gold sawmill, I guess. Gold sawmill is the best that I can do. I don't think that I've upgraded my troops enough yet for me to feel comfortable with where we're at. But let me replenish my grain supply real fast because, unfortunately, grain supply is looking real lackluster at the moment. And if I can replace one of these, well, I don't know what I want to replace it with. I'll replace it somewhere, I think. And that's now done. If I can get a tiny bit more gold over here, we'd increase the size of our gaze, which I think would probably be a solid start. Yeah, we'll increase the size of our gaze a little bit. It'll help, kind of, I suppose. There we go. Now we're, like, producing stuff and things. We have the Goblin Warlord Gorzog. Okay. I think with the army we have right now, we should be fairly solid on that front, and I don't think we'll have to worry about it. But I still need more grain, so let's just go all in on the grain front up there. We will also take this and move it up to there. We're about to kill off that tile, so that should be good. We've lost a couple of units. Let's go ahead and move the militia out of the barracks to come back it up. The last thing we want is for this guy to break through our front line and get to our archers. In this game, ranged units are incredibly powerful, and so you don't want them to get broke through and cut up. Looks like the bees held the line very, very well. Very nicely animated death animation right there, too. I like it. Throw me another grain harvester up right there. We've got room for something right here. That gives me ore and grain, so a legendary artifact. Your max unit HP goes up by 75%. Receive temporary goose riders at the start of every wave. I'll take that. I don't know how good the goose riders are. Oh, we got a legendary tornado. That'll be nice, too. Okay, we can get another hive so that we can actually replace a big chunk of our units with bees. I think that's not the worst idea, in all honesty. We do need, I mean, we got the Academy of Nature over here, too. That'll give us healers. Let's take the hive. Let's be all in on bees. And not really what I wanted over here. Like another vineyard would have been nice, but I'll take the gold mine. Troop training. We do have warriors that are benefiting from the 15% right there, so we'll take that. And then over on this side, let's set up our prophecies. So I definitely want another artifact. Like, I really go out of my way to get as many artifacts as I possibly can on each run. We'll get an infrastructure card. Those give you special buildings that do special things. 2 spells would be nice. Money would be nice. And then with 10 of them added on in, that fight's going to be a little bit rough, but I think we'll be okay. We'll get some training right there, and then I think we'll be good. Your chief alchemist has unveiled his potion of Bull's Energy, promising endless productivity. A peasant works tirelessly after drinking it. Come morning, however, he's asleep upright, mumbling the walls are melting. The advisors are split. Some call it a revolution, others warn of overwork. Meanwhile, rumors spread of peasants sneaking bottles away for personal use. I'll probably take the resources, since we have a second hive that I'm, like, itching to get out. We've got Volkar the Gold Hoarder. Okay, never gotten him before. So, like, let's just wait for food to be done over here, and then what I'll probably do is, how strong are my swordsmen? 80 HP, whereas these guys are 140. Okay, let's bulldoze this guy right here to put in another beehive. And looky there, we can spawn some more bees. I'll probably spawn bees like so. What do I need for the next upgrade? 600 gold and 640 wood. Okay, one thing at a time, I guess. These guys are all spawning into my reserves, I think. Instead, spawn them to the field. And unfortunately, I need more food for right now, so let's just work this area extra strength aggressive. I'm going to need some more wine as well going forward, but, like, maybe scooch that down to there and just spawn them into reserves just in case I end up needing them. big fight coming on in. So there are like enemy super units that get pretty big and chunky. We should be in a solid place, though, to end this fight pretty resoundingly. Goose Riders are pretty sick, dude. Okay, Goose Riders might be helpful. It looks like it keeps the enemy swinging and, like, wasting his attacks. Nice, dude. That's going to be helpful. Hell yeah. 10% chance that your units will completely block damage. That is also nice. We can get a Dragon Bakery if... Ooh, we can get an Epic Tile Enchanter, too. That would be super slick. Yeah, let's take the Tile Enchanter, I suppose. We don't have the stuff to use it right now. We're going to need crystals and things before it becomes super useful. But spawn me another bee into reserves so that I have it. And put everything you possibly can into reserves so that I have like a second wave of units in case they kill the first wave. I know it seems like we're winning handily right now, but I promise you we absolutely are not. Okay, so we've got lots of archers, we've got lots of units. Now we just kind of need to think about what we want to do down here. Got grain and ore coming in from there, but what I really need is gold. Okay. Yeah, build my golden forest over here. It takes a long time to produce, but we do get 5 wood, and we also get a gold out of it every time that it cycles. And so it's a trickle of something. It's not going to, like, change the outcome of our game. But yeah, dude, this game is pretty sick. Like, I honestly really, really like their core gameplay loop. This is a game that is abundantly original by comparison to everything else that's out there on the market, which gives it the novelty factor. There's a lot of fun synergies to play around with. I think that my only complaint about the game is that the metagame feels pretty slow. It's possible that I'm just bad at the game, and that's why the metagame feels slow to me. Super possible. But as it stands right now, ooh, we can get unicorns too. Are the unicorns good? A giant's bedding. He eats meat. You can also get a crystal castle, which produces some kind of like crystal golem. Might be kind of cool to have. But yeah, my only complaint about the game is that the metagame progress seems pretty slow. I can torpedo my run right now. Actually, let me see if I can do the second boss, and then I will abandon after the second boss, and I will show you guys the metagame progression so that you guys can see what that, get a handle on kind of what that looks like. All right, so the boss is coming up. I've basically just started stocking up on everything I can possibly put inside my reserves. Reserves are a really important mechanic of this game, and actually the tutorial doesn't really teach you how important reserves are. Like, having an entire second army inside your base that you can deploy when your first army inevitably gets wiped is actually a really, really good idea. I need 2 more units for the field right now. So I'll probably just send out the swordsman, I guess. I've got a bonus. I picked up an artifact after one of the little fights that gives each of my ranged guys plus 4% chance to double fire for every single warrior that's on the battlefield. And so they should be pretty close to 100% uptime on double attacks. And let's see what this boss looks like, because I've never fought this one before. There are a nice selection of bosses in this game that randomize each time that you play through. Oh, it's a big-ass dragon. Okay, well, chain lightning. And also... chain lightning. Eat another one. Yeah, there we go. Kill off his retinue. Drop some swords on him. Volcar the Gold Hoarder. Unfortunate. That did a solid chunk to him. I'm pretty happy with that damage right there. Let's get him poisoned for a second. We'll also drop a whirlwind on him just to see if it aids. Kinda. Oh my God in heaven. Okay, that's real unfortunate. Let's go ahead and we will deploy... from our reserves, whatever we have. We will also start replenishing troops because he's flying off screen right now, so that should give us a solid second or two to recover in all fairness. These are archers that all went down, so that's not great considering the build that I have going right now that's all about archer spam. But we'll see what happens with it. Get him with another poison puddle. So far, it doesn't look like anybody's dying horrendously, but it remains to be seen. So we lost a couple of bees. Definitely get bees respawning. As many as we can. Okay, he's going to burn us with fire one more time. That really sucks. Kind of getting whittled down right now, unfortunately. This time around, just put skeletons out onto the field. We'll go with like a skeleton crew this time around. Just to like give the real units a chance to respawn and get back into the fight. Okay, we got something over here. A crystal mine, that'd be nice. I'll take that. I'm actually super low on crystals right now, and I would like to have a lot more. Light off some fireworks to make production go faster on all of our buildings. That way we replenish units quicker. Okay, we got chunked up a little bit right there. We're not in great shape, but like we're hanging in, I guess. Keep the militia spawning. Actually, get the swordsman back out. Oh, our entire army died. Okay, well, that sort of changes things up, doesn't it? All right, release them on out. I am out of spells officially, so whatever we do from here on out, it's just got to stick. As long as we get him down by like a half a health meter before he goes up into the air, I think we're all right. Okay, reserves are recovered. Flip that around like so we're producing nothing but bees now. Hey, we made it through the second boss. So what that's going to do is it's going to unlock the second ability for this king. That was our victory right there, and we got 37 of our resources to play around with. I thought there was going to be more bosses than that. Okay, I guess we'll go back to the kingdom then. Metagame progression in this game, it has the council, so you can unlock council members from these trees over here. There's 4 of them. Each of them focus on something different, so blue is advisors and advisor-related stuff. Green allows you to unlock new kings, but you got to beat the game to get ascension shards before you can unlock new kings. Each of these kings has 3 abilities, so lots of variability there in terms of what you can do. Red is going to largely be just things that give you different types of units and give you more variety in your playthrough. So for example, we can get the Gnome Dome, which allows us to spawn basically every type of gnome that you can possibly imagine. Slingers, assassins, all that kind of stuff. And then yellow is going to be your economics, things that make your production faster. We also have a gallery over here. I've had it, but nothing in my gallery has unlocked thus far. And so I don't actually know what the gallery does after about 3 hours of playing the game. I'm guessing each one of these pictures you get gives you some kind of bonus or something, but I don't know. We have unlocked a new ability, so all building production goes up by 40% for 10 seconds for 20 gold. That's pretty good. I'll take that. That's not bad at all. That's definitely livable. But my closing thoughts about the game are that it's a really good roguelite. I like it a lot. I don't really have any complaints other than the fact that metagame progression seems a little bit slow. That may be because I was having trouble beating the first level, and maybe on subsequent levels, it will get a little bit harder. Oh, they did give me an ascension right there. Okay, well then that explains it. What do I have to do in order to unlock this place? Beat the village on Ascension 3. Gotcha. Okay, so we get an Ascension Shard and basically a new king for each one of those. Sick. But yeah, I feel like metagame progression is a little tiny bit slow if you have trouble with some of the bosses. But otherwise, it's a game that's got a lot of synergies. It seems to have a lot of content to play around with. I found it to be a lot of fun. Like, I had trouble putting it down. Like, I wanted to play it a lot more, and I probably will. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games. Today it was The King is Watching. Tomorrow it's something else. Bye, folks.